welcome to the news review on Unilag TV. The HND and university degree dichotomy refers to the difference in educational qualifications between a Higher National Diploma (HND) and a university degree. The HND is a vocational qualification offered by polytechnics and colleges of technology, while the university degree is an academic degree awarded by universities. The dichotomy originated in the United Kingdom in the 1950s, when the government introduced the HND qualification as a way to provide technical education and training to students who were interested in practical, job-specific skills. At the time, universities were seen as more academic and theoretical and were not considered to provide the same level of practical training. Over time, the HND and the university degree qualifications developed different reputations, and the HND being seen as more job-focused and the BSc as more academic. In some cases, this led to a perception that the HND was inferior to the university degree. In the 1990s, the UK government introduced a system of higher education that merged polytechnics and colleges of technology with universities. This led to a blurring of the distinction between the HND and university degree, with many former polytechnics and colleges now offering degree-level courses. However, the HND and university degree dichotomy continues to exist in some countries and industries, with Nigeria being one of them, with some employers placing greater value on one qualification over the other. In some cases, this may be due to a perception that HND graduates are more job-ready and practical, while BSc graduates are more theoretical and academic. Recently, the National Assembly passed the bill for an act to abolish and dichotomy and discrimination between university degree and higher national diploma in the same profession and field for the purpose of employment and for related matters. And it is now on the table of the president, who has less than 30 days in office. Today on the show, we will be discussing HND and university degree dichotomy in tertiary education. I have two guests in the studio. The first one is a deputy registrar of a polytechnic, while the other is a human resource personnel, and you will meet them right after this break. I am Vina Peters. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's a news review on Unilag TV, and remember to follow us across all social media platforms at Unilag on TV. Earlier, before I went on a break, I said we will be discussing HND and university degree dichotomy in tertiary education, and I have Mr. Joe Ejiofor, the Deputy Registrar and Head of Public Relations of Yabatech. Welcome, sir.
It's good to be here.
All right, sir. So Before we dive into the questions, let me actually take your opinion on what you think about the disparity between HND and, of course, university degrees.
Well, I think they are both of different fields.
Okay.
We try to make a lot of noise out of nothing.
Okay.
If you look at the philosophy behind the polytechnic, it's quite different from that of a university degree. The HND graduate is trained to be a middle level, theoretical based graduate, while that of university is trained to be more of a, sorry, the HND is trained to be more of practical, while the BSc is trained to be more of theoretical. But because of the attitude of our attitude and that of even the government, that made one look inferior to the other, and that is why people begin to agitate that the HND graduate must be at par. The philosophy setting up those two things are different, and if we have followed it rigidly, there won't be cause for this dichotomy that we are all getting about. But you see, we imported this idea from Britain, but as I speak, most of the polytechnics in Britain have been converted to university. We don't have them. So why not do the same to Nigeria? If you don't want the HND graduate to be at par with the university graduate, convert the polytechnics to award degree institutions so that they can be at par. But if we don't do that, we continue to experience that. But it's not something that can just be done overnight. Because it's also include a complete review of the curriculum of the HND graduates.
Okay, so as the Deputy Registrar of Yabata, in what ways do you ensure that the curriculum for HND programs is aligned with the needs of the labor market and that of graduates?
First and foremost, the HND graduate is trained for a different thing entirely. What I'm saying is, if the government wants to, just like people have been clamoring, the government wants to bring at the university or HND graduate at par with that of the university, first and foremost, there should be a review of the curriculum. Why would somebody who will go to a polytechnic after spending 2 years, go for a break and then come back again for another 2 years? Why not merge it? I'm not a curriculum developer, but by the time they give it to the curriculum expert, they know how to streamline it to be at par with that of the university.
Okay, so in what ways do you promote the value of HND qualifications to potential employers?
Well, the only way let me speak from the perspective of my institution, Yabata Technology. Our graduate HND students are well rated and well sought after because they know what they can produce. But because of the mindset of people that these people with HND are inferior to that of to BSc, it also demoralize the HND graduates. Again, most of the people that are holding managerial positions, either in government or in private sector, are all university graduates. So they always want to go for graduate from the university. Let me give you an example. The banks doesn't look for HND graduates. Rather, they look for ND graduates. And it's not as if they employ them directly. They employ them through consultants. But they go for HND, for BSc holders. I have a little niece who just finished her HND. She got a job with one of the banks. Not with her HND, because they didn't employ her with her HND. They said they don't want her. But they employed her with her ND certificate through a consultant. And she got there, she come and said, Uncle man, I need to go to university. I said, why? He said, the salary disparity given to university graduate and that of polytechnic graduate is so wide. And they make them look so inferior. Like people cannot, what they can only do is to work with their hand, they cannot think. And it's not supposed to be. So to solve this problem, the government, they are the policy makers and they are policy implementer. Just change these schools into degree awarding university, degree awarding institution. If you don't want to call them polytechnics, if you don't want to call them polytechnics, change them to degree awarding institution. Let them award ND, and also let them award BSc. But again, let me also tell you something. Do you know that the polytechnic institution even discriminate against their own students?
How so?
I have a BSc, you have an ND, we are employed together. Yeah, they'll give us the same salary scale, but with different nomenclature. If I'm going in as a lecturer, I'll be as a BSc holder, I'll be employed as an assistant lecturer. As HND holder, you'll be employed as higher instructor. See, the same salary but different nomenclature. As a BSc holder, I will rise to become head of department, to become dean of school, and to even become the rector of the institution. That privilege is not attainable to ND holders.
So what do they get?
They get higher instructor, senior instructor, principal instructor, chief instructor, and they retire from there. Except if they have to go for career progression, they have to go back to school and acquire additional certificates like BSc, the master, then they can rise. But if they decide to stick to that HND qualification, they are not moving anywhere. Yes, they will rise, but the nomenclature, and you need to come to the system to know that there are differences, because people just look at you, oh, HND holder. It's also applied to non-academic staff. Non-academic staff with a BSc can rise to become a registrar.
Okay.
But that of HND cannot become a registrar. As a BSc holder, I'll be employed as an admin officer, from admin officer to admin officer 2, assistant registrar, senior assistant registrar, principal assistant registrar, to deputy registrar to registrar. But as an HND holder, you'll be employed as an executive officer. It's diminished. You won't be allowed to serve in any council, any college committee, either as a secretary, as a member. These are the discrimination we are talking about. We need to, if we want to really close down this dichotomy, I think the polytechnic education will need to start
with themselves.
With themselves, yes.
Okay. Still speaking on that, how do you now encourage them to actually realize or actually see the unique skills that HND graduates possess?
Well, that is why some people have been clamoring on some stakeholders of the polytechnic sector, like the union, academic staff of Nigerian, polytechnics, the senior staff association of Nigerian polytechnic. They've been clamoring, and that is why we have a bill now that is in the National Assembly that if the president has sent it to it tomorrow, will stop this discrimination. But again, like I keep saying, like I said here before, and I want to repeat again, the government will need to go a step further. We borrowed from the British, and the British have
moved
on. We can also move on. If you don't want to change the name, just call it degree awarding institutions. Let them award degree. Because we are here. If you go to the job market, seriously, there's a lot of discrimination against the HND, against HND graduates, and it's not too funny. JAMB will advertise for admissions, and you find a lot of people, almost 60,000, applying to universities. It is only when they now try to get into the university and they are not, that they try to change the institution to polytechnic.
Okay, there's something I want to chip in here, because something just came to mind. You said there are disparities within themselves, and also with them in the workplace. And you also said that they treat them like it is only what they have in their mind or what they have to do with their hands. Okay, because recently I've had cause to interact with some Yabatech students and also with university students. And honestly speaking, there are differences.
For good or for better?
I'm going to tell you, there are differences. Now, you meet some Yabatech students. Yes, they are very sound when it comes to what it is that they are reading. But most of them, they do not know how to speak well. And most of them do not even know how to communicate what they have in mind. And you cannot even place them as somebody that can actually speak for you. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. While a university student, you can see that, okay, yes, they can communicate. It's not only what they read. There are other skills attached to these things. So my question is, how do you now address it? Because if I am an employer of labor and I see an HND student and a BSc holder now, and the HND student cannot even communicate properly, okay, and the university says can, definitely I would actually go for this one, knowing that this one can probably learn on the job. Or if the case were switched, I would definitely go for the HND student. So my question is, how do you balance that between a university student and HND student?
You know, I started here by telling you that the objective of the polytechnic education is quite different from that of the university.
Okay, before you go forward, please tell us the objectives of the polytechnic.
The objective of the polytechnic is to train middle-level manpower,
okay,
for the nation, and where practical knowledge is the mainstay. And that is why you see a lot of polytechnic students. I'm sure most of them will be very good with their hands.
Very.
But when it comes to communication skill, they're not too good. So to address that, like I said, I'm not a curriculum reviewer, a curriculum formulator, but to address that, all you need to do, because if you look at the curriculum of the university, then as a student, whether you are doing medicine, you must do some GNS courses that are communication inclined, philosophy and all that. It is just now that they're beginning to introduce that into the polytechnic system to make them think properly, to make them articulate in their thought and their spoken language. So, I mean, there should be a continuation on that.
Exactly.
Expand the general studies curriculum. It's not just because you want to go and study engineering, study machine tools and then go. You should be able to study, they should be able to inculcate some other disciplines, some other, or how do I call it, some other disciplines like philosophy, like a communication skill, liberal studies, so that it will give them a widening knowledge and not just restrict them to their own area of a profession. With that, I think we begin to get graduates from the polytechnic students who can articulate their thoughts, both spoken words and then in thoughts.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So another thing, for JAM cutoff, we have 200. And that of the polytechnic is 180.
So 160.
Exactly. So it's more like it is decreasing by the year. Now, don't you think that is another reason for the disparity?
Fantastic. That's another reason. Another reason. Like I said, a lot of people align through to university when doing JAM. Most of the people that we have admitted in Yabatech didn't choose Yabatech as first choice. A lot of them picked University of Lagos, University of Ife, University of Nigeria. So it is when, because they didn't meet up with the cutoff mark. After post-JAM, they write down to do change of course, change of institution, and then decide to pick Yabatech. Of course, somebody who scored 230 and wants to read architecture here and couldn't get in. If you score 230 in Yabatech Polytechnic, it is, I mean, straight entry for you. So by the time they try to get into this place and they're unable to, a lot of them rush back to the Polytechnic and even the colleges of education as the next option because they want to go into school. This discrimination can only stop if, like I said, convert this Polytechnic to a degree awarding institution so that everybody will be at par. There will be more room to employ, to admit people. There won't be a room for somebody to now start feeling inferior that because you attend the university, attend the Polytechnic, we cannot work on the same, we cannot sit down on and talk on the same table. But let me also chip in this. Do you know that China in 2014 or so converted 600 of their university into Polytechnic? You want to know the reason they gave? Said because a lot of people are becoming too theoretical. A lot of their graduates, so they want to bring back the practical aspect of knowledge. So they converted out 6,000. That is half of the institution in China. They have close to about 12,000 universities to Polytechnic. But again, you know why they are getting it right? It's not as if that Polytechnic, because they convert it to polytechnic, they award HND. No, they will still award degree, but it will look like more like a polytechnic curriculum setting. Yes. So I think we need to do something. If we are not converting this polytechnic to degree awarding institution, change their curriculum to align with what is obtainable in the university. Let it be BTech, not HND, Bachelor of Technology. You know, it creates a power, and there won't be room for this dichotomy, and there won't be room for discrimination and other things. Yes, you are in government. I have HND, you have BSc, and we employ even the companies too. They'll give me level 07. Why they give you level 8? And as BSc holder, you can rise to level 17 and even become a permanent secretary. By the time I get to 14, I stop. I won't go further. So I mean, it's not going to be a day job, but if we start now, we can get it right and eliminate these disparities and dichotomy.
Okay, so you are aware of the bill that was passed by the National Assembly?
Yes, I am.
So what do you have to say, bearing in mind that the president has less than 30 days in office?
Government is continuing. The current president signed the bill. We have a president-elect that will be sworn in. Then we want to be the one to sign it. I mean, government is continuing. The fact that we are going to have a new president. The good thing is that they are from the same party. Even if they are from different party, he will still need to sign it, except if he doesn't want to.
That's true. Okay, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now, so we go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll have Mrs. Tolulokwe Jayola, the Assistant Registrar and HR of UNILAG. But let's go on this quick break. We'll be right back.